Welcome my dear student in Horizon Language Schools, Grade 8. Today we will complete Unit 2, Force and Motion. Lesson 2, Accompanied Forces to Motion. We know the meaning of force and the fundamental forces in nature, and in the last session we studied accompanied forces to motion, and we said that they are two types: forces originate due to motion and forces cause motion. And we studied the first type, which is forces of inertia. In this session we will study friction forces. The second type is friction forces. When the motion of an object is a car, friction occurs between the object and surrounding medium, which generate force known as friction force. So friction force is a resistant force. This means that against motion, resistant force against motion, originated between the surface of an object in motion and the medium touching it. It's the wheels with the ground. There is friction force against to the motion. Example: when you use the brakes to stop the bike, the car or the bike, a force between the brakes and the tire of the bike or car is generated. There is force which causes the stopping of the bike of the car or the car. Why the car stop when we use the brakes? Because there is force between the brakes and tire of the bike or car. Okay, this force is called friction force. We say that the friction force is a resistant force originated between the object in motion and the medium touching it. What is the type of this medium? The surrounding medium may be gaseous as air, solid as the ground, liquid as water. But the relation between the friction force and the speed of the object is inverse relationship. By increasing the friction force, the speed decreases. Benefits of friction. What the friction force have? Benefits and harms. Double-edged weapon. We said that friction force, double-edged weapon, has benefits and harms. What are the benefits of friction? It prevents feet from slipping. There is friction between the feet and the ground. The surrounding medium is solid, which is the ground. It prevents feet from slipping on roads during walking. Number 2, as human in the car, it helps in stopping car motion due to the friction force between brakes and the car's tire. It helps in starting car's motion due to the friction force between the car tire and the ground as a human. Okay, between feet and the ground, and between the wheels of the car and the ground. Number 4, it helps in burning match. The friction between the match and the box, there is friction force which help in burning of match. What are harms of friction? Friction forces cause a great loss in mechanical energy. Between this energy is changed into heat energy. As we studied before, any mechanical energy change into heat energy. As we rub our hands in winter and cold to get warm, there is heat energy. It's the same idea. The mechanical energy of the motion changed into heat energy. Number 2, it produces heat due to friction between some parts of the machines. There is friction between internal parts of the machines. This heat causes expansion of these parts, and it affects their performance and may cause damage and erosion. And number 3, it causes the erosion of machines parts and damaged them as well. So the harms concentrate in the mechanical energy, which changed into heat energy, which cause erosion of the machine's parts and damage them. Okay, there are some give reasons important in this point. Give reason: car tires are covered with a very coarse substance. The tire not smooth, but there is coarse substance. Why? To increase the friction between tires and the road. This coarse substance make the friction force increase between the tire and the road to help car in starting motion and stopping. This coarse substance help the car in starting motion and stopping. Number 2, give reason lubricating and oiling mechanical machines. What is the meaning of lubricating and oiling? This is mean that adding oil or lubricant material, okay, as in the image. This is due to reduce the friction between moving parts of machines and to prevent their erosion and their damage. The oil reduce the friction between the moving parts. As in the car, if you have a car, you should visit the mechanic to change the oil from one time to another. Why? To reduce the friction between moving parts of the car, which prevent their erosion and their damage. Give reason number 3. Give reason. Once you use the brakes of a moving bicycle, its speed decreases gradually until it stops. When we use the brakes of the bicycle, its speed decreases gradually. Why? Because the friction between the tire and the brakes generate friction force against the motion, as we say in the definition. There is friction force against the motion of the bicycle, which lead to resist it. The friction force resist the motion of the bicycle, so the speed decreases gradually until it stops. And thus we finished the friction force. Third, forces inside living systems. These forces which cause motion enable living organisms to do their different biological operations and to keep their survival and vitality. And these forces divided to 2 types, depending on the type of system which works on it. There are forces inside living system, whether simple system or complex system. Simple systems such as unicellular living organisms, but complex systems such as multicellular living organisms as human and animals. What are the importance of these forces? These forces enable living organisms to do their different biological operations and keep their survival and vitality. So biological forces, they are forces inside living systems that enable living organisms to do their different biological operations. Biological forces, they are forces inside living systems that enable living organisms to do their different biological operations. Biological forces help living organisms to do biological operations. Examples of these forces inside living organisms. Number 1, heart muscles. Heart muscles do contraction and relaxation. Why? To help the heart to pump blood all over the body. As we studied before, the function of heart muscle to pump the blood all over the body organs and vice versa. This indicated by heart pulses during the movement of pulse inside blood vessels. Okay? Give reason, blood is pumped all over the body organs due to heart muscle contraction and relaxation. The same idea, example number 2, the contraction and relaxation of muscles of all the body. It helps the body organs movement. Contraction and relaxation of heart muscle to pump blood to all body organs, but the contraction and relaxation of muscles to help in movement. Example number 3, liquids in our body transported through pores and walls of cells of our body from, as a picture, from lower concentration to higher concentration. This help transport of liquids from cells to another cell. Number 4, example number 4 for the forces, rising of water and salts from the soil to the plant. As we studied before, that there is water and salts in the soil. The plant needs this water and salt. How do the water and salt rise to the all parts of the tree? Rising of water and salts from the soil to plant through roots to stem, then to leaves. This is against Earth's gravity. How does it occur? they need force. Force obligates the roots to transport the water and salt against the gravity. Give reason. Blood is pumped all over the body organs due to heart muscle contraction and relaxation. Number 2, water and salts go up from soil to plant. As we said, liquids are transported through pores and walls of cells from lower concentration to higher concentration. And thus we have finished lesson 2, accompanied forces to motion. See you in a new video and a new lesson. Thank you, Miss Sarah.